Hello and welcome to the Basement Suburban Radio YouTube Neutral Broadcast Podcast. We're back. And today I'm your host. Enrique is a little under the weather. You know, he's had too many of those 40-pound drink things that he always has. What is it that you drink too much of?
Those would be
Steel Reserve?
Actually, it would be St. Ides, and they'd be 40 ounces.
St. Ides.
They'd be 40 ounces, not 40 pounds. 40 pounds.
No, that's Steel Reserve.
Well, he's feeling a little bit under the weather today. So, due to that, I am taking over. So, let's introduce the panel as we always do. Eric?
Hi, I'm Eric. How you guys doing?
That was invigorating. That was fantastic.
I'm happy. I am happy to be here to talk video games with all of my family here.
Absolutely. And as always, Sam, our brother from Riviera.
Hey, how are things going with everybody? I've been throwing up some articles on Real Game Media. Check that out. And I also just got 1,000 out of 1,000 in Titanfall 2. Yippee do me.
Awesome.
That's it. That's
Nice.
everything from Rivia.
That's everything from Riviera. Okay.
Final Fantasy 15's owning my ass, so that's
Final
been-
Fantasy 15 is life. And I think that I actually currently hold the world record for the biggest fish caught in the game.
Yummy.
I saw that. Congratulations.
234.5 pounds of beast.
Peter's gonna come after you.
Nice.
That is a big fish. Like, that's a whale.
That is a lot of lightly fried fish fillets.
It is.
Indeed. So let's not beat around the bush too much. Let's get straight into it. We'll start with the games that we've been playing this week.
Whoa. Whoa.
Devalued.
We forgot about me here.
No, I did that to you on purpose. Enrique, why don't you introduce yourself? Let the lovely people know who you are and why you're here.
Hi, everyone. I am the creator of BRAP, Enrique, and I'm a little under the weather today. So, as Bella mentioned, that's why she is hosting tonight. She was kind enough to volunteer. So, thank you, Bella, for doing that. And I'm a filthy neutral, I might add.
If they come.
You are the Basement Suburban Radio YouTube Neutral Broadcast Podcast Neutral.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so since you're the one that recently spoke, why don't you tell us what you've been playing this week?
All right. So, like many people, I've been playing Final Fantasy 15, and actually, you guys might be surprised. I can't say I've made a dent in the game, but I've progressed. I'm actually in Chapter 3. I've probably put in 13 hours now. Unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to game the last 2 days because I've been busy with some other shit. But
Hang on, back up. You put in how many hours?
enough.
No. How many hours?
13.
Sorry, how many?
13.
Oh, that is so cute. Keep going.
So I put in 13 hours. I'm in Chapter 3, so that's what I've been playing.
Excellent. Okay, Eric, how about you? What have you been playing?
I've also been playing Final Fantasy 15. I am also in Chapter 3. There's like a lot to do in there, so I've been running around. I try to continue on with the main story and the main quest, and then I see like a side quest, and I'm like, squirrel. And next thing you know, I'm down that rabbit hole. I'm off to that, which is great. You know, there's a lot to do in the game. It's definitely fun. Think I'm around a cute 20 hours or so. But I'm proud of my 20 hours.
Eric, combined, we're at 33 hours, man.
Yeah.
Between the pair of you, that's still adorable.
Hey, that's how it rolls. Procreation, man.
Bella, how many hours did you put in The Witcher 3? Oh, you haven't played it yet. All right, next subject.
Not enough
No,
would
I
be
have
the
played
answer.
it. I have played it, and I think I've only collectively probably only about 25 hours.
Ooh.
Tisk tisk.
Well, I wouldn't challenge that because, as you know, once she digs her heels in, she'll have 230 to 700 hours.
That's cute.
By the beginning,
already know.
by the beginning of 2017.
Bella doesn't mess around.
Yeah.
It's like that 400 hours that I have in Fallout 4 and I still haven't completed the story. You already know.
Hey, real quick though, speaking of Final Fantasy 15, I would give a big shout out to Ken, Digital Falcon. I got the opportunity to talk to him this weekend. It was really cool. We've had him on the podcast, and it was just nice to catch up with him again on Final Fantasy 15. So, big shout out to him.
Shout out to Ken.
Much love.
Yes. Ken Masters, a.k.a. Digital Falcon, a.k.a. Liquid Pain, a.k.a. He's got so many hours, it's not even funny.
He's got
that dude, though.
Lots of ACCAs. So, other than that, I've been playing Forza Horizon 3 still. But I haven't done the new DLC. I'm just playing the regular game. And I
didn't pay
find really
$6?
the DLC for that game is set in Australia, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And so at this time of the year, they're releasing the snow-capped mountain DLC. It's friggin' summer here. It is hot as hell.
But it's winter here.
Nowhere. Anyway.
Well, we need to be geographically correct, though. Let's do it,
That's right. Like, if you're going to set a game in a particular country, then maybe make the weather, align with the weather. Anyway.
Well, it will eventually.
Yeah, like another 6 months.
Boom. Facts.
And what have you been playing, Sam?
Well, as mentioned, I've been playing a lot of Titanfall 2. And without going into too much detail, in case anyone hasn't played that game yet, number one, you should, because it was the best shooter this year. And number two, good Lord, that game is difficult on Master. I'm not going to give anything away, like I said, in case anyone hasn't played it yet, but there is a certain boss fight that was Dark Souls level infuriating. And then you add that onto the Gauntlet, which I probably had to run through 500 or 600 times before I finally got under in under a 20th of a second. I'm glad that's over and done. But it is a fantastic game. And a little bird told me that I may or may not be getting Final Fantasy 15 sometime in the next week, and I may not be chomping into that. So that's what I'm up to.
Oh, so you're expecting it as a Christmas present from the fam?
Not from me.
Oh, so you're the little bird that told you to tell the little bird to tell you that you might be getting something from the little bird and then you'll be playing it. Okay, got you.
Bella, basically his wallet told him that.
My wallet is whispering.
He opened it up and his wallet went...
Okay, seriously, though, just as soon as my payment from the contract I just did clears, I'll be getting it.
Sweet.
Yeah, right. Okay, nice. So the only thing I've been playing this week, and this should come as no surprise to anybody who knows me or follows me on Twitter, is literally that Final Fantasy 15 life. I am utterly addicted. I'm pretty sure I actually currently own the world record for the biggest fish caught in that game.
So I'm sorry, Bella, I mean to interrupt. You weren't making that up. You really own the world record?
Yeah, it looks like it. Like, I've been doing some serious research, and the nearest fish that I have been able to see that's been caught is 215 pound. The biggest fish I've caught is, I think, I sent you guys a screenshot. I think it was like 234.5 pound or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It's a whale. Like, that is a fish. that's gonna food village.
I'm sorry, what, Eric?
You didn't see the picture?
I don't think I saw the picture. Oh, yeah, actually, I did. I did see the picture with.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, with the Backstreet Boys in the water, holding the fish. I saw that.
It's so good because, like, usually, obviously, Noctis will pull his own fish out of the water, and then occasionally you'll catch one big enough that Gladio will get in the water and he'll like haul it up over those big, muscly, manly shoulders of his and carry it out of the lake.
Well, I was gonna say about this game. Like, I don't know about you, but when you go camping and hunting for creatures, you want to put on your best like goth outfit, your best goth t-shirt, your open leather jacket. You want to. Yeah, that's what you want to romp around in the fields in.
I gotta be honest with you. I don't think I had many adventures with my friends where we were walking around with like our shirts off, and playing in the water together. Yeah, you know, it just didn't happen
Sure,
really.
you did. It was called college.
No, actually, no. No, we didn't do that in college. No.
But when you get to fish that are like over 200 pounds, the animation completely changes. If anybody who's listening doesn't want to know this, just tune out for about 15 seconds. So the animation in the cutscene completely changes, and what will happen is Gladio will run down the dock, he'll jump into the water, and then straight away Ignis will follow him in, and then Noctis pushes Prompto in the water, and then Noctis gets in, and the four of them like hold this fish, they're like, yes, look at this. So yeah, it's really
now they want to be involved. When you're trying to catch small fish, all they do is sit behind you talking shit the whole time.
Yeah, it's like, oh, beginner's luck. I'm like, you still think this is beginner's luck, Ignis?
So, so like, do you guys chop it up and eat it? Do you sell it? Like, what do you do with it?
You can do either. So you can use it for recipes, or you can sell it.
You put
Like,
it
you don't
between
sell
two
the
slices of Wonder
entire
Bread.
fish. It gives you a certain number of particular fillets and etc. So yeah.
I think it's interesting that you can fish in this game. I mean, I can't think of another
Japanese RPGs for you, or JRPGs.
JRPGs, yeah. But I don't know. I just find it interesting.
It makes me think about Zelda. Like,
Yes.
fishing is like always a pastime in Zelda games. And I was telling Bella the other night, I said this game is so weird, but in the most perfect way. You know?
Yeah. It's got its quirks, but like definitely game of the year for me, 100%.
Really?
Nice.
Game of the year? No.
Game of the year for me,
Nope.
100%. This game has been out for 13 days. I've put 130 hours into it. This is my game of the year.
Well, yeah, that rated damn sure better be something.
I don't know, Bella. I have some issues with the game, but
What are your issues with the
I
game?
can't. Huh?
Enrique put his on his hip like knock this when you said that. Like, what?
What? No, I just I'm only in chapter 3, so I'm not. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, but you're still in that open world romance at the moment where you're just running around and doing side missions and trying to level up so you don't get poleaxed on level 8 hunts. Once you level up a bit further and you progress in the story, and that story once it catches you, like you get almost like you forget that there is an open world aspect to the game, and you put yourself on a linear path. You have to know what happens. You have to. I can't even say anymore because I'll give stuff away. But it's really good.
Would you say after chapter 3 is kind of when you hit that stride?
To a degree, you kind of get stuck in a linear path up to about chapter 8. Mm-hmm. And then you have the ability to go back into the open world again. Like you always have the ability to go back in the open world, but you feel like you can step away from what you're doing and go back into the open world. And then you have a lot more of the map, so to speak, without giving anything away, unlocked, and a lot more to do.
Right.
And it's at that point that it's really important that you go and spend a lot of time leveling up the skill base for the character. So Ignis is cooking, and Prompto with taking photos, Noctis with his fishing, all that kind of stuff. So you need to go and get all of that leveled up. You need to go and learn the different ways that you can use the elemency with your potions and your items and treasures and stuff to create different spells, and how they are and aren't effective against different types of enemies. There's a lot to learn. And chapter 8 is where I recommend that people spend their time doing that.
Sweet. Cool.
So by all means, if you find yourself lingering in chapter 3, I implore you, push on, get to chapter 8, give yourself a bigger, better, more expansive open world experience, have a lot more fun with it, and then push back through the storyline again.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, I'll have to take your advice then, since I'm on chapter 3.
No, because I've heard other people say, like, who had just started the game, like, you can spend a lot of time in chapter 3, but once you get past chapter 3, it's kind of when the game really becomes, where it grabs everybody in the feels and starts to really, hit the gas in a way. And not to say that the early parts are like kind of boring, but that's not the case at all. But you can get you can kind of go down the rabbit hole by just kind of hanging around.
Yeah, you can get stuck there for a really long time. I mean, I did as well. I was level 40 before I even left chapter 3.
Right. Yeah. Because I'm like level 21 or 22.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm slacking.
Yeah, you really are.
I'm like level 17. It's like I'm level 38. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but you know what, man? A level 20, you know, you might think that you're doing something, and then you run across like this, like some of the simplest looking creature, and it's just like, whop. You know, you're like, it kind of sends you back. You know, so. But it's funny. I think one of my favorite NPCs has got to be the jeweler dude with the very exaggerated Italian accent. Not accent, but the very New York. Yeah, Dino.
Dino.
Wow.
Dino's hilarious.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Bing, bang, boom.
I tell you what. Like, he might be annoying as hell, but follow his side missions. Push through them. And you won't be able to complete them all in chapter 3. So, and that's a brilliant thing about the way that they have formulated these side missions is there are certain people who you go to for these side missions where you'll be able to do like 70% at chapter 3. But then there'll be some that will want to send you somewhere that you can't go yet to be able to complete it. So that's you'll have to push through the storyline and then come back out in chapter 8. Or even after you finish the story and then come back into the open world aspect and do that stuff then. So push through the side missions as much as you can to get them to the point where either they're completely unrealistic, you're like, this is a level 99 mission. I'm not ready. So when I saw that one, I was just like, are you serious with me right now? Level 99 mission? Get out of here.
Oh my gosh, I got a lot of work to do. Holy shit, I feel like I got to put some. I'm off on Friday, so I'm going to spend some time playing this game Friday during the day. So
yeah, good. You really need to, and I'll be online, so I'll give you a hand. I'll help guide you and help you get your Amiga built up and take you around a few tombs so you can get all those weapons.
Sweet. But I will say this though, Witcher 3 is still better.
You say that now.
I don't see
but the real test will be if I say it later.
Sam, I'm telling you right now, The Witcher 3 is better.
The Witcher, I have no doubt it will be.
Yeah, I mean, Geralt as a character himself is probably more likable than
for sure
than all the other guys.
I don't know. I probably need to sink a little bit more time into The Witcher before I could actually make a statement like that. So I'm going to reserve my opinion on that one.
I mean, like Geralt for me is he's one of my.
He's your bro crush.
Yeah, I mean, Geralt's like, come on, the guy slays, what does he do? He kills beasts and slays women, and he drinks meat and has a good time.
All at the same time.
My kind of guy. He's a multitasker.
Should I be concerned that those are the characteristics that make somebody a role model? Like.
Role model.
Given the world existing,
you got to remember this. This is fantasy. Not in real life.
Okay. All right. So before we move forward, I'd just like to give a quick shout out to Jafar, who is in the chat section as our moderator today, to make sure that everybody plays nice. Although all the people in the chat section always play nice. It's such a lovely crowd that come out every week to support the podcast, have a great chat, listen to our opinions, and share your own. So thank you very much for everybody that's putting their time aside today to be a part of the podcast.
Sweet. You see what Micah said? The Witcher 3 should always be better.
It is better. I'm just throwing it out there. It's better. It's just better. I mean, Geralt. I mean, come on. The guy. Yeah. Anyhow,
better.
I have a bromance with Geralt, by the way, if you guys can't tell.
Before all of the blood rushes out of
Shit.
Let's move on. So I believe this is a subject matter that you actually wanted to discuss tonight, Sammy, which is backwards compatibility and the recent update.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone's been paying attention or not, but they are killing it when it comes to backwards compatibility.
Who's this? Nintendo?
No, Microsoft.
Oh.
You did.
I mean, They just released the Lost Odyssey, the infamous 4 DVD JRPG that didn't really. I haven't played it honestly, but my understanding is it didn't get the attention it deserved. I'm definitely going to be playing it soon, but they just released it digitally for back compat for free through the end of the year. Blue Dragon, another JRPG. That one is absolute. Wait a minute, that one's not free, but that one is available digitally now. When previously it was only available on disc. They've hit over 300 games. And Phil Spencer said in a recent tweet that their data says that almost 50% of Xbox gamers are using backwards compatibility on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
Not me.
Which is some pretty impressive stats.
Yeah, I mean, half of everyone who owns a One, that's like 14, 15 million people. That's not insignificant.
Well, I mean, it's such a great value add. I mean, to have the ability to go back and play games that either you owned on the Xbox 360 and you loved, or you didn't have the chance to play. Like, Sim, you mentioned you haven't played Lost Odyssey. It's such a great fucking RPG. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put any weight into anything that Drea Smith says, apparently more people are playing 360 games on Xbox One than people are playing PlayStation 4 exclusives.
He said old, and I think he said old 360. I'm like, what are you trying to, you're sort of like insulting, the back compat thing, while you're also kind of trying to.
But he's one of these people that encompasses everybody's opinion. He allows everybody to play what they want to play when they want to play. He's not a fanboy at all.
Well, this
is what I kind of think we should do when it comes to Dreyer. Whenever he does this, everyone just stop, pay attention to Dreyer.
That's right. Hashtag follow Dreyer. Hashtag here's the truth.
Everyone stop what you're doing. Dreyer needs a little bit of attention.
Hashtag no media bias.
Yeah. And then let's go on about our day.
Okay. You know what's... Oh, my God. Oh my goodness! I wasn't going to talk about this, but he's someone just makes shit up. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. He tweets stuff out that he just makes up. He tweeted this out today, and he has, and actually somebody tweeted. Actually, it was BG from Weapon Wheel said, "Hey, where did you pull those numbers from?" And he's not going to respond because he's full of shit. He's making it up. And I just hope that people are smarter than that to take anything this guy says into account, because what he's saying is bullshit. And, he had that article about neutrals. That was bullshit, too. I don't want to talk about neutrals. I really don't. But
no, it's not, there's no conviction behind the statement. Like, I know people who truly believe what they believe, and they say it, and then they will come and discuss it with you because that's what they truly believe. But you can't just throw a rock and then go, hide behind the wall again.
Eric, that's what
you can. Of course you can.
You absolutely can. But it's just like,
you should.
To me, you're lukewarm.
Eric, in this day, you can do that in social media. You can throw a rock and hide behind whatever and just
all day long.
All day long. And there's no accountability. But I'll say this much: anyone who goes out there and fucking lies about stuff like this to make shit up over video games, right?
Yeah.
You need to reevaluate your life. You have, like, seriously, like, it just, you lack integrity. You lack integrity if you need to lie about stuff for the sake of getting hits or becoming popular.
But that's the great thing. No one should be taking him serious as a journalist or a writer. But it's kind of funny that you accuse media of being biased, but you consider yourself to be a writer, but you do things that are, pretty much just as bad.
Where he promotes, he's biased himself.
Actually worse. It's actually worse than what you would accuse like an IGN or a GameSpot of. I mean,
well, what's worse is he's misleading people. He's misleading consumers. That's worse.
Right. Say what you want about some of the bigger sites. There's probably no editor on any of those staffs that taken that article about the neutral thing and like ran with it.
I tell you what, if any one of my writers came to me with that, I would show them the door. I just like, thanks very much for all your contributions. We no longer require your services.
Oh my God, damn it! Well, I'm fucked then, because I was going to do a neutral piece, but
you're not a writer.
So those backwards compatibility games. So What do we think
Yeah.
about that?
Incredible
Well, I mean-
value for absolutely free. And the fact is, from an engineering perspective, with the swap to x64 architecture in the Xbox One and the PS4, backwards compatibility is never really going to be an issue again, at least not for the foreseeable 30 years or so, because all computers are going to be using x64 for a really long time. And I say that to say this is really the last generation where backwards compatibility is going to be an issue. So having all those 360 games going forward pretty much forever, I mean, that's a big deal.
It is, and considering the fact that they're looking at introducing all the OG Xbox games into backwards compatibility as well is a very big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh my God.
I think
would
that
love the OG Xbox games on Xbox One. That'd be amazing.
Oh, hell yeah. And it also takes a lot of pressure off development studios that are feeling the pinch from the community about remakes or remasters or sequels and stuff like that. They can just add their titles that we all love to play with to begin with to the backwards compatibility list. And that kind of, it eases the itch that some people have for particular genres or games.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, because especially with them releasing the BioShock, stuff, even in light of there being a remaster, that's kind of just like saying, hey, some people have paid for it. They don't want to buy that all over again. Yeah,
exactly. So yay to backwards compatibility, nay to media bias. Awesome. All right.
Well,
so
I want to shout out All.
Wait.
Before we move on to that, I want to shout out All Star because he said something I feel every day when I see people throw the bias card out. It's like, there's bias. There's bias in everything. Everyone has it. It happens.
Of course.
Not neutral.
Throw that out. But to throw that out as the trump card every time either you're not winning an argument or someone hits you in your emotional,
Vagina?
What? Yeah. Okay. That
VJJ, probably.
VJJ. That's kind of sad and pathetic. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, good.
Yeah,
good
we all have a bias. Anybody who claims that they have absolutely no bias at all is either outright lying or they're lying to themselves. We all have a degree of bias. But because you're biased towards one thing or another doesn't mean that you have to discriminate against somebody else who doesn't share the same leniency towards your said bias. And that is where the issue comes into it.
That's a great point. It really is.
Absolutely.
I've had it happen to me. I mean, when the whole Purple M thing became a thing, people were challenging me, saying, "Hey, if you're with us, rock a Purple M." I'm like, "No, I'm not." First of all, I'm fucking grown. I'm not rocking a Purple M.
A grown-ass man, goddammit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if I'm going to support the Xbox, it's going to be with my dollars. Like I've always done. But I'm.
Let me say this. Sam rocks a Purple M, and there's nothing wrong with rocking a Purple M. You can have pride in something, but let's call it. I mean, people like to say, "Well, you just pick on us because we have a Purple M." No. There's people who are really cool with a Purple M, and then there's a few of you that just spoil it for the ones who are really, honestly, just happy and looking forward to Scorpio, right? But Enrique's got a point too. It's sort of like, well, you're not with us because you don't rock it. No, I'm a grown ass man, so I don't assimilate to things I don't necessarily feel like I need to assimilate to. Like Enrique said, you want to buy everything for me, then you can kind of dictate to me, kind of how I rock. But my dollars, my receipts, my collection, what I have here, that speaks. I'm well in support of Microsoft. And that's why I said, it's funny with these people that say, oh, you're a neutral, you're a casual, you're not Xbox enough. Hey, asshole, 2 OG Xbox, 4 Xbox 360s, an Xbox One, an Xbox One S, a host of games. You can suck my balls with that one.
Damn, really, Eric? That's where you go? Oh, my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lovely.
As Eric touched on, I mean, both Red and Sam have very different opinions when it comes to that M on Twitter, but they're both valid opinions. Like, it doesn't matter which way you look at it. Both of them want to either do or do not have that M in their name, and neither of them has anything to do with being a part of the sheep, being a part of that pack mentality, being a fanboy and following all of that. It's an individual choice about, hey, it's my Twitter account and I want to rock the M because I'm excited for the Scorpio, or I don't want to rock the M because the general conception that I get from the community about people who are seen with that are fanboys. I don't want people to think of me that way. Both opinions are still very valid for very different reasons.
Absolutely. And that's why I said I respect Sam, because Sam said he's going to continue rocking his because he wants to be the stand-up Xbox fan.
The irony,
prove that not.
you want to know something funny,
you know,
Eric? I actually was going to take it down, but I have a running thing where every time someone tells me in a DM to take it down because it makes me look bad, I keep it up for another 2 weeks.
There you go.
So currently I'm backlogged. Currently I'm backlogged up through February.
Well, you know, I mean, Eric did. I mean, and Eric brought up a great point. Not everyone with an M is you know, a crazy fanboy. So
a good portion are, though. Let's not downplay that. You know. So yeah, but hey,
Absolutely.
I'm excited for Scorpio. Purple Limber Note.
Yeah, I mean, I need to learn more about it first before I'm going to get really excited about it. I'm concerned about the fact that there may be a lack of native 4K technology in the architecture. I'm concerned that the supporting infrastructure in the console may not complement the 6 teraflops that they're adding to it. Teraflops are great for developers because it gives them more options. It gives them more ability to perform more things at a second per second rate. So you can have so much more going on your screen. The graphic fidelity can be so much more dense. So more teraflops are great in that regard, but unless you have the correct architecture in the console to support those teraflops, it will actually slow down the performance of the console overall. So I need to learn more about what's going to be in that console before I get really excited about it.
Well, we all do, and when I say excitement, it's very much like, hey, the excitement you feel when you know there's could be like a potential new hardware product on the market, but that's about, yeah, like you said, the extent of it until we know more. And actually, Sam and I were in a tweet earlier where we were saying, we were answering Kofi, who actually was asking, should they do a keynote before E3 or something? I think they absolutely should, because I don't want E3 to be spent talking about hardware.
No, they need to do a press release sometime in February or March, give us all the boring, wonderful engineering technical details that put normal people to sleep, show us exactly what you're doing with the technology and exactly how the silicon works. Then, announce the price even, announce the release date. Then at E3, all you have to do is say, oh, and by the way, here's the way this game looks on Scorpio.
Exactly right. And then when they do that, they will give some of our favorite YouTubers something to like mull over and dissect for months. It'll be fantastic.
Quite frankly, it's time, because when they announced it at E3, like I told you, I facepalmed like, oh my God, this thing's a year away. This is all I'm going to hear about. You know, because now it seems like hardware and power is more important than gameplay or games. I want to know where the games are. I want to know where the games are going to be. I want to know what they're going to look like. I want to know what we're going to, and not even necessarily where they're going to look like. Games are already pretty. What are you going to do to extend my gameplay experiences?
Yeah. We could turn that into a very lengthy topic, but something I've been talking with a couple of people on Twitter and DM about is we haven't had a gameplay style innovation the way we did jumping from the 7th generation to the 8th.
Totally
we really haven't.
We haven't.
We've had a few.
Well,
we've had a few select games. You know, and VR, and there is the application of VR, but I didn't want to mention that because that seems like more of an evolution of the applications of technology, not the standard games on standard consoles, if that makes sense.
Right, because by and large, games still kind of play the same as they did in the last generation.
Right.
You know, you're right. We haven't had a tremendous leap, you know, like how you said when we came through, you know, from OG Xbox to 360, you know, it was just like you had things that really propelled things forward. You know, just the advent of HD, going from standard to HD was like a huge deal.
But Eric, what about 2D to 3D? I mean, you know, you and I've had the privilege of having that experience because we're old.
Yeah.
But you know, going from 60-bit console generation to 32, I mean, that was mind blowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but even with that, from 2D to 3D, and then going into that 7th generation, games did get better. Like AI got better. They looked better. Mm-hmm. They started playing better. We had more polygons. All of it kind of came together to make that generation. That's probably why people kind of are in the position they are in now. Why people are are so dejected most of the time because of how spoiled we got in the last generation, how long it went on for one, and how it just really felt like a complete evolution.
Yeah.
You know, and how we were playing. And again, I'm all for more power. I'm all for that. But up to this point, and I'm sure, you know, we'll get there. I'm sure there'll be some more announcements, but it's time to start, you know, in a way, trying to blow some socks off through gameplay. Games can always look better. They look really good now. You know, what's going to be that next thing that makes you go, holy shit?
Well, I've argued for a while now, and I don't mean to drag us down anymore, Bella, but just let me interject this. I've argued for some time that we should let visuals stagnate for a bit due to how good they've gotten and make 60 frames a 100% guarantee.
Say that again, Sam. Say that again, Sam.
Visuals should stagnate for some time. Maybe not even pixels necessarily. I mean, that would help visual fidelity, but visual quality as a whole, we have reached a point where it is an uncanny valley level where it would be okay to take a few years, maybe even a whole generation, because generations aren't going to last as long. We're never going to have that 8-year cycle again. It's going to be a 4 to 5 year generation. Take 4 or 5 years, let the visuals stagnate, and get 60 frames as a 100% target across the board. Because it really should be a minimum rec.
Yep.
But it depends on the game. If you're going to sacrifice other elements of a game to push a game up to 60 frames per second that doesn't require it, because it's a very slow-paced game where 30 frames per second is even more than is needed for the game, then I don't see the necessity to make a development studio push for 60 frames per second and have to compromise on other qualities in the game to be able to achieve that.
Yeah, it should be a case by case, but it is amazing to me how everyone's like, you know, the power, we're going to jump to 4K, you know, 60. And it's like, okay, we haven't even mastered 1080 60. You know,
you remember that? Give me 1080p 60 or give me death.
Yeah. Right.
We're not even getting 1080 broadcast right now, but that's another conversation.
Yeah. Anyway, carry on, Bella.
Oh, well, thank you, kind sir. So the next thing that I thought that would be interesting to discuss this evening would be the subject matter of a man that spends $1 million that he stole from his work on Game of War. That's right, people. He stole millions of dollars and sunk a whole million in microtransactions on a mobile game. What do we think about that?
Unfucking-believable.
He needs to get hit in the head with a Homie the Clown sock, if anyone knows that reference.
Oh, homie, don't play that.
Just smack oh my God.
Dude.
Like, if you gotta steal a mill.
There's got to be
it's insane. And he didn't actually just steal 1 million. He stole completely all up. He stole 4.8 million. Mr. Kevin Lee Coe from Sacramento, California, stole $4.8 million that he embezzled. He spent it on luxury cars, season tickets to the 49ers, Sacramento Kings. He got some plastic surgery, bought a golf course membership, a new home and furniture, and spent $1 million on microtransactions for Game of War. Of which they're actually speculating that the fact that Game of War had their little film clip during the ads at the Super Bowl was contributed to by the fact that there was a $1 billion injection into the revenue last year. Thank you, Mr. Coe.
My Lord.
Amazing. He made it rain.
Hey, you know what? I actually know somebody who dropped $1,000. No. Dropped $3,000 on Clash of Clans.
Well, they're pretty dumb too.
No, I'm being serious. Like, I'm not even making that up. This is facts.
I wish you were, but you know, that's dumb too. But $1 million? You know how hard it is? Come on.
Yeah, but when you steal $4 million, what's $1 million? I guess, you know, when you've embezzled it.
No, but I'm saying like.
But that's like 25% of some major.
I mean, I wouldn't do it. I would do it. I wouldn't spend $1 million on a fucking game. But hey. To each his own, I guess.
I really want how long did it take him to hit that? Like, how much was he like just hitting that button, like buying, microtransactioning up in that game?
That would be interesting to know, actually, and what the motivation was. Whether it was just like he wanted to make himself completely boss level so no one could beat him, or.
Okay, well, hold on. We can do the math on this. What is the maximum microtransaction? Like, in dollars, USD, Freedom Bucks that you can purchase.
I don't play no mobile games. I don't know.
Ooh,
Well, I don't either. So I don't know.
Bella, why don't you play both?
Me either. You got time for that?
I'm spending too much time on my consoles on my PS Vita. Like, if I'm mobile with a console in my hand.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
Yeah. If I'm going somewhere, I know I'm going to sit for like a long time. Usually my PS with me or my 3DS or something. You know.
Yeah.
All right. Let's say like a 99-cent microtransaction, or up to $3.99.
Okay, so let's assume $3.99. Are those taxed or?
No, they're usually just that.
I thought
base fee.
I thought they were taxed now.
Are they? Okay, let's say they try. Let's say they are.
I could be wrong, but I thought they were.
Okay, hold on. All right, so let's work with this. So $3.99, assuming that a standard electronic tax, which in the U.S. is 8 cents on the dollar. All right. So if we go with that, then 31 plus $3.99, we have got $4.30 even. Okay, so if we got $4.30 even per microtransaction, and we divide $1 million by $4.30 per
We'd like to thank you all for joining the academic episode of the Brat Podcast.
We're going to round down to just 2 decimal points. So we have 232,559 individual microtransactions. So, taking that number into account, let's assume, what's the latency on if you were purchasing something? Like, let's just say it takes 10 seconds to process, or is that too much?
No, 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
10 seconds.
If we assume that it takes 10 seconds to process, we take that and we convert it into, say, minutes.
And then you put your left foot in, you put your left foot out.
Let's factor like how much of that time was spent on the toilet.
38,759 divided by another 60.
Sam, are you doing this on a whiteboard right now?
This gives us 646 hours, rounded up by a couple of minutes. 646 hours this man spent on microtransactions. Or if that somehow isn't doing it for you, then this man would have had to have literally spent 27 days straight.
Wow. 27 days.
Wow.
That's cute.
I could think of
He obviously hasn't played Final Fantasy.
That game cannot be that damn good, man. Come on.
Hey,
27 days, not hours, Bella.
Didn't they have Kate Upton in the commercial?
Yes. They actually did have Kate Upton in that commercial. They had her dressed up as Athena.
Have mercy.
Yeah, you know who took over that campaign, and she probably got some of this dude's money, is Mariah Carey.
Oh.
Now I know the game you're talking about.
It's like this whole scene where she like comes up out of the water. It's like it looks like it's a bath full of milk. She comes up out of the water and her hair's dripping down her back. And
that's not
Kate Upton.
Oh, that's not milk. Oh, did you say that out loud? So yeah, I did.
Well, it looks like a bath of milk, like extremely soapy water.
Yeah, whole milk.
Mind out of the gutter.
We thank you for joining us on this family edition.
Yes, exactly. Podcast. Yeah.
So you come here, you learn something.
Yeah, you learn a lot.
I'm not going to say you learn a lot, but you can learn some things.
I just can't believe, honestly, I can't believe I just said that. You know what? It's the Sudafed talking. I'm going to blame it on that.
Well, yeah, quite clearly, Sam has just finished doing all of his studies in mathematics. So thank you very much for that mathematical breakdown.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
So moving on to something that I think we're going to end up lingering here a while, actually.
Oh, boy.
Donald Trump
Bella,
and the media censorship disparity.
I just want to say something. Someone is going to be a little upset about this conversation.
Are they?
Yeah. Certain someone that we follow on Twitter.
A certain someone that we know that does the thing with the thing, and then he cries when you do the thing with the thing because he's like being all thingy. That person, right? Anyway, let's delve right into this conversation.
Oh boy.
Oh, I'm gonna go grab a drink. I'll be right back.
Nah, sit your ass down. You started off. You don't get to slink out.
Who would like to kick this one off first?
Enrique.
Why does it have to be me?
You know why.
I don't know why. I'm gonna.
Because you do have to do some work tonight. I mean, damn, this is actually your channel.
I've heard that before. So
that's not something I brag about, honestly. Anyway.
That's like, dude, that's like sinking the ship you're on just to kill the captain. I mean, good lord.
Oh, anyhow, I'm going to defer to Eric on this one.
Nah, man. See, I went in on the whole bias thing. Sam went in on the math.
All right.
Wait.
How about I give you the statement that Donald Trump made that has actually kicked off this whole thing? The statement that Donald Trump made quite openly on Twitter was that video game violence and glorification must be stopped. It is creating monsters.
Okay, so yeah, so he tweeted that out like he tweets a lot of stuff out. I don't think,
by the way, just to
well, let's point. He tweeted that in 2012.
Yeah, this was 2012. Okay. This was 2012, December 17th, 2012. And you know, it's hard for me to take anything he says seriously. It really is. I mean, at this point, he just says shit just for the sake of saying shit. You know, I don't even know if it's even Donald Trump himself tweeting.
It is.
Okay, well, that's even scarier if it is. My only concern is this: is if he does mean this stuff. And Eric, we've talked about this, I think, on this podcast and even offline. As many of you know, Eric and I talk a lot offline. But there was a time.
We're bros, bro.
Huh?
We're bros, bro.
Yeah, we are. We're. How does that song go again? We're anyhow. But there was a time, and some of you guys probably don't remember this because some of you are very young. But for those of us who've been gaming for 3 decades now, there was a big push at one point to really censor video games.
Mm-hmm.
There's this like moral high ground that people took, which is really, anyhow, just bullshit. Because we saw the moral high ground with, Eric, you may remember this, with rap music, you know, with NWA.
2 Live Crew.
Yeah, 2 Live Crew. Mad love to Luke, though. That's my dude. That's another conversation, though. But yeah, I mean, and it's funny because, you know, gaming is entertainment, right? And there's this push, this movement to censor gaming for a long time. And actually, this is how we arrived to the rating system that we have in place now. And you know, it's almost like, I think a lot of the time, and this is just my opinion, I feel like a lot of times, a lot of the violence that we see in the U.S. and people attribute to games like Grand Theft Auto, they use it as a scapegoat, because you can't address violence in video games and not address violence on television shows. And if you even look at TV, you look at programming now, right? And I'll use myself as an example because I'm older. You know, what I grew up watching and what's available now, it's much different. It's progressed more. There's more violence on TV, right? There's more there's more sexual content or innuendos on TV, on regular TV. No, we're not talking about cable.
Oh yeah, like ABC and stuff like that.
Yeah, ABC. I mean, you know, growing up, I grew up with watching Love Boat. You know, I mean, seriously. I mean, you know, I grew up watching the
What
fucking.
do you mean you grew up watching Love Boat? You still watch it. You're watching them reruns right now.
The Jeffersons.
Oh boy, no, I'm not watching. I might watch the Jeffersons though. And Good Times, Eric, what do you know about Good Times?
Dynamite.
Thank you. You know, but yeah,
Just
I mean,
to quickly feed off the point that you're making, though, because this is something that fits in exactly with what you're saying right now. When a lot of the people that were in the running for the presidency were interviewed about what their favorite TV programs were this year, they put down games like Game of Thrones, TV shows like Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead, Breaking Bad. Like they watch these these TV shows that are full of violence and adultery and drug use, yet they have no issue with that, but they have an issue with it in video games.
Bella, it's hypocrisy, Bella. And
of course it is.
It's hypocrisy. And the thing is because media like TV media and cable media, and that's all acceptable. But when it comes to gaming, it's not, because gaming isn't necessarily as popular.
That's right, because nudity, sex, drug abuse, language, and graphic violence are fine on TV. They're just not fine in video games.
Exactly. And that's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember Leyland Yee? Bella, you probably. Yes. But Eric, you do. Senator in California, Democrat, big gun control advocate. Ones for getting handguns, rifles, long guns, anything that looks scary, to quote them in their idiotic terminology, banned. Well, and then he also wanted to get GTA banned. He wanted to make the ESRB a lot stricter when it came to their ratings and things like that. He was eventually busted for helping run drugs and purchasing heavy firearms from an Islamist front operating out of Southern California. It's like, really?
Yeah,
really.
And that's what I was going to say. When you get something like a Donald Trump, and actually someone pointed out to me that even Hillary had done that at one point. Like, she kind of jumped on the whole video game thing. You find like little buzzwords that you or buzz platforms that you jump on to kind of get people behind you, right? Because if you're not gonna jump on something, The Walking Dead probably had one of the most graphically violent episodes in TV history at the beginning of the season.
Probably the most, for sure.
Yeah, and and they push the envelope. But like you said, senators are saying that that's one of their favorite shows. But that's the thing when it comes to this kind of thing. You talk about, let's say, bias, hypocrisy. We all have it. And some of the biggest hypocritical moments are in standing on a platform of indecency. Because I was listening to a radio show once, and this radio DJ had on this S&M mistress, who said one of her biggest clients, who wants the most debaucherous things done to him, is like a prominent senator who runs on a platform of indecency. And she couldn't, he was trying to get her to say the name. She's like, I can't do that. She's like, but it's all horseshit. So it's like, when you throw out video games, that's easy to attack that. And I think I actually tweeted out or retweeted when I saw Donald Trump, that someone retweeted this actual tweet, and it was just sort of like, wow, that's kind of interesting that he took that platform when most people are kind of moving away from it. But then I looked at the date and I was like, oh, it was 2012. Doesn't change the fact that he said it, considering some of the other things that he said, that he has said.
But do you think that he will take that? There's obviously there's an issue with gun violence here in the United States.
You probably didn't even remember that he tweeted it.
Honestly,
until it came back up again.
But is this something that's going to, I don't wonder this, is this something that's going to come up? Because I grew up, anytime there's violence, I go back to, just growing up and playing video games, and especially when GTA came, GTA 3, it always seems like, it's almost like video games and hip hop tend to be the scapegoats, and there's a violence problem in this country. There is. You look at what's going on in Chicago. They hit 700 homicides, which just blows my mind. Because I remember when DC was the murder capital, and I live outside of Washington DC. DC was the murder capital in the late 80s. And 350 was a big deal, and now we're at 700 with Chicago. And then you look at all the school shootings. Where there's kids, elementary school kids getting killed. Is my concern is gaming going to be the scapegoat, and it shouldn't be, because the people that are doing these things aren't necessarily doing it because they're playing video games, and some may play video games and not have that, be able to, and it's probably more of a mental thing that they can't decipher between the difference between reality and fiction. And it's just, and I hope that, and again, this is 2012. I hope that's not a narrative that comes back, because we saw this years ago.
You're right. And I hope not either, but I would almost wager when you have, violence in urban areas or whatever, video games aren't the thing that's fueling that. That's the reality of the situation. Something that can be fueled by what you see on TV is a few years ago, and here in Florida actually, where a 14-year-old boy pulled a wrestling move on a toddler that was a friend of the family and broke her neck.
Yeah. Gave her a pile driver.
Right. But no one looked. I mean, he got in trouble for it. I think he actually went to juvenile for it. And there was a hoopla about, what kids see on TV or whatever, but no one really made it a thing of, well, wrestling should be stopped and wrestling should be ended because of this situation. But obviously he was influenced by things he saw on TV and thought he could pull those moves, at home. So I'm not also going to say that there are some situations where a movie or a video game or a book somebody read or something that they saw influenced them, but there's influences in everything. But you're right. I mean, the only reason that this will become the scapegoat is, like you said, if someone needs a platform. I mean, right now we're not in an election time, but if that ramps up, there's always going to be somebody who uses a platform of some sort like that, whether it's indecency, gun violence, video game violence. But rarely is it ever, like you said, movie violence, TV violence. It's always something that, people who don't understand something, which something like video games could be, is something easy to jump on because you can just easily scapegoat it. No one wants to scapegoat movies and TV usually because most people share in that.
Yeah. What's crazy is that, Bella mentioned that, some of these senators, they mentioned some of the TV shows they watch. You guys mentioned The Walking Dead, but look at Game of Thrones. I mean, Game of Thrones is really, really, really explicit. I mean, the level of violence, the amount of nudity, sex that's involved. I mean, cable television has taken, things to another level, from when we grew up, and we, Eric, you and I are close in age. We grew up in the era before cable TV,
Yeah.
And, before, I remember HBO in 1979, which is crazy as shit. But, the amount of program that we get now is so much more violent and sexual than what video games is.
Yeah.
So I don't think that. I was gonna say, I don't think that I really have a problem with the hypocrisy of movies, television, they're forms of entertainment, art's a form of entertainment, and gaming's entertainment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
and like Fastback was saying, like it's on HBO, and in HBO in one point in time was definitely protected by the fact that it was a pay to access service, and it still is in a lot of ways. It's definitely more accessible now, but it is still considered a paid service. And I've seen people say, "Well, holy crap, man! Like The Walking Dead or Breaking Bad, like I can't believe what they did." And some people will say, "Well, that's still cable service, quote unquote." So they're kind of, but it's still. There's a lot of households who have cable, so in the regular cable network thing is sort of almost like public television at this point, but they're still pushing the envelopes. I mean, like I said, I mentioned ABC. The reason I mentioned them is because there's shows that come on there like Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder, where they simulate, sex to a degree where there's nothing left to the imagination. I'm talking like they simulate oral sex.
What?
On ABC. I mean, they don't show, but there can be, what's going on.
It's like Grand Theft Auto, man.
Right. And not to be preachy, but there's also that thing too of control your household as well.
I will say this: I do agree with the rating system. I do think that the gaming industry did need that because there were, you could walk into a GameStop, or an EB or Funko Land when I was growing up and buy whatever you wanted. So I think in that regard, that you needed to. There needed to be that there needed to be that in place because of the content that was coming out, and that's a byproduct of technology too. Because you probably couldn't really do that during the 8-bit era. Although we had Leisure Suite Larry, which was I don't know if anyone's played that on PC. That was kind of like adult content back then. But
right. Yeah, you remember the whole hot coffee thing? How that was just like, you look back on that now, you're like, man, that's timid compared to some of the things we're exposed to nowadays. You know, but again, I think also responsibility starts at home. Not every kid has that parent that is that way, but I know, like me, I don't let my daughter sit and watch me play like violent video games. Like, she doesn't sit and watch me play The Witcher or anything like that, and she doesn't get to watch, you know, violent television.
Yeah, you definitely can't.
You know,
you cannot have your daughter watch Geralt. That's not a good thing.
Or like something like The Last of Us, which I do have a cousin that, at the time, you know, his 2-3-year-old son would sit and watch him play The Last of Us, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Sure, right.
I wouldn't be okay with that. I can't have my 2-year-old like watch me play The Last of Us. Like, yeah,
no, parental responsibility does come into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. So yeah, so as a parent, yeah, I don't let her sit and watch certain things or listen to certain things, or, you know, because it starts with me. I mean, it's going to be tough enough when she goes to school where she's with other kids for 7-8 hours, picking up their influences. So I have to start trying to like ingrain things into her now.
Yeah.
You know, before my role becomes guidance counselor. Like right now, like she hangs on everything I say and do, but it's going to come a point where that doesn't happen, you know? So I have to kind of put some values or instill some values in her now. But the scapegoating has to stop. I mean, there's always scapegoating and there's always blame this, blame that, but, you know.
You guys remember Geoff Keighley in Fox News? Mass Effect?
No. By the way, no, never mind. I'm gonna say that, but go ahead, Tim.
You don't remember that?
No, I don't.
None of you?
No, refresh my memory.
Oh my lord. Okay, so Fox. Oh wow. It's like the most widely known one, more than hot coffee. Okay, so back in 2008, right? Mass Effect releases, and Fox News is looking for someone to attack, as they always are. And they bring in this professional psychologist, supposedly. You can't see me doing the air quotes. And she basically analyzes Mass Effect and says that it is going to be responsible for massive sexual problems in America's youth.
Oh my God.
Like that, and that it was, quote, this is a direct quote, a pornography simulator for men to do whatever they wanted, unquote. Geoff Keighley accepted props to the man, no matter what you think of him, an invitation to Fox News, and endured this nonsense. And they were showing, the most edited of edited clips possible.
Oh, I remember that.
Did his absolute best to instill a sense of logic into the whole thing. And as soon as they realized that he wasn't going along with everything they said, they just cut him off. They completely.
I remember that.
And it went to a panel of people who had not played it at all, talking about how big of a problem this was.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
look it up. It's on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, I remember
I'll
that.
have to send a link.
Yeah, there's people on Twitter all day now that didn't play anything but have all the opinions in the world on it.
Oh yeah, that is the game that they're playing though. They play Twitter and they play it well.
Oh yeah, they're really good at it. That game's trash.
Does that make them?
Did you play it? No, I can just look at it on YouTube and tell it's trash.
Yeah, so if they're players of a game called Twitter, does that make them twits?
Do they get achievements for that?
Unlockable DLCs.
Okay.
Like,
here's an IQ boost. Oh, nope, that won't help you.
Oh, wow. Savage. That is hilarious.
Hey, those no rules reviews, man.
Oh, those are the best, aren't they? Well, I played 8% of this game, so I can give it a 9 out of 10.
Hey.
Get out of here, dude. Come on.
B-Money, what's up, man?
What's happening?
Yo, B, what's up, bro?
B-Money, you made it. We were worried about you. I even DM'd you. I'm like, are you okay?
Nah, it's been a crazy day. Crazy day at work. Crazy day not at work. So I finally made it home, and it's good to be on here with you guys.
Yeah, no doubt. B-Money, we haven't seen you like the Brap DM, so we're like, man, is he okay? Like, what's going on? So it's good to hear you, man. It's good to hear you're all right, man.
Well, we're just on the tail end of what has morphed into a completely different subject. But the subject matter that we were currently discussing was Donald Trump and how he had previously said that video game violence needs to stop and it's creating monsters. Yet people seem to have no issue with the same levels, if not higher or worse levels, of violence being available readily on TV, in movies, comic books, and novels.
And yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy, man. Just watching TV and just being able to listen to some of the stuff that they're allowed to say, like on TV now, it like blows my mind. Like,
Right?
You know what I mean? Like when I look at TV and I watch it with my kids, it's like, whoa. You know what I mean? They would never take the chance to say this when I was a kid. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everything was bleeped out, or they say like some crazy other word, you know, instead of saying that or whatever. So, you know, I mean, times have definitely changed, and you know, I mean, there's people out there who can watch, you know, really violent movies and things like that, or listen to really violent music. But when it comes to video games, they look at it sideways. You know what I mean? It's not okay to have violent video games or, you know, anything of that influence. So,
yeah, it's usually always people who don't play them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that are like all over it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just like, you know, we go back to, you know, hip hop. I mean, you know, with the whole, I mean, there was a legit movement to try to ban hip hop and censor it. I mean, it was. I mean, there was hearings. Remember the hearings on Capitol Hill?
Yeah,
Dude,
it's crazy. I'm like, what is going? Like, this is my fucking taxpayer dollars going. I mean, you know, our country was founded on freedom of speech, and they're having hearings about this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy too, because like if you look back at like just the history of hip hop, like I always watched like these documentaries or whatever, and like before like hip hop even really became violent, it was just a reaction to the stuff that was happening around them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like before it became like this rough and rugged like music, you know what I mean? It was just like this happy-go-lucky stuff that you would hear like any other pop song. You know what I mean? They're just talking about the normal stuff in their neighborhood and their everyday life. But, you know, when police violence occurred and, you know, different things were happening to different races and things like that, that's when the music became a little out there.
Well, because they started talking about things that were happening in their lives. And that, like you said, that's when it became like, you know, that's when it changed. You know,
you know who doesn't have an issue with this?
Who's that?
Drea Smith.
That guy's yeah, you know, B-Money, we were talking about him earlier. His neutral article, his tweets. You know, we usually don't call people out by name, by the way, on this podcast. Well, actually, I think we've done it before, actually, one other time, but.
Well, lucky for you, it's me that's hosting today, so you can put the blame on me.
Yeah, Bella was like, yeah, and so. I'm like, oh, okay. Bella's calling out people that actually tweet more than play video games.
Yeah.
That's right. Shout out to people who talk about plastic more than play the games that are on them.
Facts.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it goes these days. You know what I mean? You look at a lot of people gamer score, and it's not over 20,000. You know, you got to question how much of a gamer they are.
Hey, full disclosure, my gamer score is not over 20,000. That's because it's my second gamer tag. So throw that out there.
Well, you also play on multiple platforms, though. Like it's not like you only play on Xbox, right? If you spent all of the hours that you gamed on just your Xbox, your gamer score would probably be like 40, 50,000, but you play across multiple platforms.
It'd be more than that. I mean, I was a fucking beta tester, but you know, that makes me not Xbox enough because I play on multiple consoles, but that's another story.
That's what I thought. Because I look at my gamer score, and I'm like, man, I've been on Xbox Live for a long time. My gamer score should be higher. And I think back, I'm like, but I've been playing multiple platforms for forever.
Exactly. If you took all of those scores and combined them onto the one platform, like you'd be kicking some serious high gamer score right now. But for people who play across different platforms, because God forbid we actually like to play games and we don't care what piece of plastic they're on, then obviously it's going to affect your gamer score.
It means I'm neutral.
I'm emotionally attached to games for a whole different reason. I'm not emotionally attached to plastic.
See,
You know, like I'm a huge fan, so an emotion.
I'm emotionally attached to some plastic, but it certainly is not my content.
Oh man.
No, my mind.
I'm talking about my credit card. What are you talking about?
My mind just went south.
I'm talking about my credit card.
Really?
Enrique's not sick anymore.
I'm shaking my head right now. I'm like, no.
You dirty fuck.
Oh my god, my mind just went to the gutter. Hey, you know what?
All right. Change topic.
Yeah. No, you can't change a topic. It's imprinted in my brain. You don't understand, Sam. So anyhow,
I was talking to you.
Back on track.
Yes.
But no, I sit back.
Talking about my credit card over here. We call our credit card a piece of plastic.
Look, now you know how I feel.
Okay? We call them plastic.
Hold this on me.
It's plastic. It's a credit card. Move along. Move along. Oh my god.
Bella, the way you said it, though, I'm sorry. My mind just went like completely south. It happens. I've been playing Witcher 3 too much. I'm just gonna blame it on Geralt.
Look, just drink another Corona here, Hispanic, and get you sorted out.
Ooh, sad.
Well, I look at like how people, you know, when they lose their sense of logic and they start to really react to this whole thing, I'm like, okay, you've crossed past where it's about your fan and love for a console and what that means to you, because there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being emotionally attached to gaming, because we all play games for a reason. We all play games for escape. We all play games because they put us in a better place. You can go back. It's almost like a good song that you remember from a certain part of your life. No matter when you hear it, you know, it takes you back to a certain place, right? So gaming is sacred for a lot of us, but some of these people just step over into this emotional area where you just sit back and go, if I was a psychotherapist, I'd be writing papers on you fucking people. Because there's gold here. It's like, this is going beyond rational thought. Like, this is some deep emotional, this is like some deep emotional, how are you this emotionally scarred when it comes to a brand? And don't get it twisted. You know, there's a certain amount of care that these companies have for us, but that care ends when it comes to your dollar. You're not going to open up a can of cranberry sauce at Thanksgiving with, you know, Shuhei, Aaron Greenberg, whoever. You know, that's where it stops.
I might be opening a can of cranberry with
you. You want to open cranberry with Uncle Shu?
Yeah, man. Who wouldn't?
Yeah, with Shuhei. Yeah. I'd actually like to take Shuhei out for some drinks.
You know, if I'm going to be sitting down and eating anything with Uncle Shu, I want it to be that 300,000 gil recipe that uses caviar in Final Fantasy 15. That's what I want to be eating.
I want to know why you call him Uncle Shu, though.
He's Uncle Shu. It's Uncle Shu, Uncle Phil. Like Uncle Google. Uncle Google knows all.
There's a brilliance for social media and interaction, like especially where it comes to Twitter, because it has opened up a level of, you know, contact to people that you really never would have had that kind of, you know, level of communication with, right? But it's a gift and a curse. Some of these people literally think that they're like best friends because Phil Spencer retweeted them.
Easy.
Or responded to them. Easy. But do me a favor. No, do me a favor. Go to Phil's house, knock on his door, and let's get arrested. See what happens. That way you won't be on Twitter for a while. You know?
Phil might
like, so the
body by Phil.
Away.
So I'm just saying, don't get it twisted and don't get so crazy if someone doesn't agree with you, where you're just like, you lose all sense of rationale. And I think you guys know some of the people I'm talking about. It's just like, yo, you're going way too far.
Hey, B Money, real quick, man. What do you think of that whole neutral thing, man? That whole article. Did you read that? Probably not.
No, B Money said he doesn't redrive his bullshit.
Oh. But
B Money's a busy man. He's got like 64 kids. He hasn't got time to read trash.
You know what's crazy is that it's funny when I listen to people argue about consoles. The majority of the time, these people are playing the same games. I'm like, why are you guys arguing? They're playing third party. They're playing third party games. Mm-hmm. They're playing the GTA 5s. They're playing the Call of Duties. They're playing the Battlefields. You know, they're playing all the same games, but just on different consoles, and they're arguing about it.
Right.
You're
right.
It just doesn't make. I mean, seriously, you guys are arguing about the same shit. You guys are playing
what cracks me up is when you log on and see some of these elitists, like, because you can follow them on the console, so you can see what they're playing. It's like such and such is playing Monopoly. I'm like, oh, you bad. You're such a gangster.
Let me tell you something. Monopoly's no joke, Bella.
Oh, that Park Lane in Mayfair, it'll get you.
Mm-hmm. You got to roll the dice right.
Yeah, and then that free parking. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just crazy to me, man. Like, or even people who rock on, who have been known to rock on that on a particular platform, get attacked by like fanboys.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like nothing's safe. Everyone's judgmental. Everyone's judging everybody based on whatever. And then you, like you said, you look at them playing something, you're like, really, you have room to judge?
You know what? Speaking of neutrals, we have one of the biggest neutrals out there in the house. Shout out to Mr. Anchorman.
Oh, Anchor.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Checked in, you damn neutrals.
Big shout out to Anchor. Anchor is a huge neutral.
Did you ever think that this whole neutral thing would be causing this much angst and making people lose sleep?
Oh, it's ridiculous. I mean, seriously, does it have to be? Is anybody else but me over the fact that there has to be a name or a label slapped on anything that doesn't agree with a fanboy fallacy? Like, it's insane.
But
Get over yourself, people.
But Belly,
everybody just play what they want to play on the platform they want to play. Let's discuss the games, the experiences, the emotional outcomes, the drive that keeps us playing for hours and hours and hours. No, it's not Gladius's ass, but yes, that helps. Let's discuss those things, not the consoles.
Yeah.
Or how about banding together when the community comes under attack? When there's senators attacking the community, or when there's a dev pulling shenanigans, why not come together at that point?
Well, see, that's the thing.
And I was talking, like Enrique and I were talking about something one day, and I said, I know there's offline. There's people who say, well, just ignore it. Okay, but ignoring it also allows things to just kind of go like wreck shop. Like things just show up. You live in a community. We're a community. We're one gaming community. We may have preferences. We may prefer one platform. We may prefer all of them. But at the end of the day, we're all one gaming community because the outsiders look at us as weirdos, or whatever you want to call it. But in a community, you have things that happen. You have shenanigans. You have people that do things. But you can't just always turn a blind eye. You don't always engage, but you can't always turn a blind eye either because it's your community. Take some pride in it. And I said the other day, if somebody came by your house or your neighbor's house every day and took a shit on your lawn, you're going to ignore that?
Absolutely.
Or are you going to say something, or you're going to do something about it?
No,
it's
I'm going to
really
ignore
no different.
Because if I say something, I'm a neutral.
You're going to do something about it.
But
while you don't have to go down rabbit holes every day, you don't have to say something all the time. You also shouldn't just turn your blind eye and just let it go.
But Eric, a lot of the thing with the neutral stuff, because I've been called neutral on many occasions, it's propaganda. It's just another way to be divisive and to, shame people that don't agree with fanboy behavior. And that's what it is. And it's almost, in some ways, I feel like they're just threatened by people that actually fucking play games and have a general appreciation for gaming. They don't buy into the fanboy shit, so they feel like they need to label that, because,
and that's what it comes down to. Then, yeah,
because all day. It's funny. Speaking of Trier, and I, we invited him on this podcast, but he won't come on here. He won't do it because it's too easy for us to just poke holes in his logic. And that's why we get labeled. Because that's
people want to stay in their own little biodome, their own little bubble. But it's funny because the thing is, the whole neutral thing is really it's a small sample size of a bigger thing. There's a lot of people who don't even know what that means. They heard it and they're like, what does that even mean? I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, wait, what? What's neutral?
Well,
I'm trying to take this.
Woo, there's a new buzzword. Yeah.
It's propaganda for one. It
Absolutely.
Really is. All it is propaganda from a certain group that's just trying to say like, so-and-so's not this enough for us, so they're neutral because, they don't have any passion or they don't, no. Like Anchor just said, people can have preferences. And on top of that, why do you even care whose preference is what? Why are you so concerned about a person's preference? But at the same time, you can have a preference and be a certain thing, but you don't engage in the console war. You have no want or need to do so.
It's called lack of pussy.
Well, yeah. So, I don't know. I'm off my soapbox.
Is that a technical term or?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But anyhow.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and like that's like
All
that's
right, so
all right,
no Xbox did.
Bella, reel us back in.
Right
Reel us back in.
moving right along. Online games, online only games, are they okay? For example, For Honor
No.
now needs to be online at all times to play. How do we feel about that?
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
And yeah, because it's one of the
I didn't like it a lot.
I don't like it at all, and that's one of the issues I had, like with the Division. You know, there's certain games you still want to be able to play even when it's not connected online, and I don't know. I just don't understand the advent of it.
I think we're getting old. I think that
You might be. I'm not.
no, well, you're old too, Bella. Kind of.
No, I'm not. I'll always be younger than you.
This is true. You always be younger than me, but I think that I don't agree with it. But this is where gaming. I mean, look, this is where gaming's going. This is where media is going. We're at a point now in technology where we're just connected. We just are, and it's hard for a lot of people to accept that. You know, and I think that's, you know, gaming's not immune to that. Gaming's not immune to the changes that we're seeing in technology, being connected all the time. And I always say this: once when Microsoft came in, they connected well, I shouldn't say Microsoft because it was Sega that did it. But when consoles became connected to the internet, it changed everything. And this is just part of that change. And you know, I think if gamers are against it, they shouldn't support it, and that's the only way we can fight this, just by speaking with our wallets. But something tells me that won't happen, because we have a younger generation behind us that's younger than us, that's grown up that way, that's grown up connected to the internet, that's grown up being connected to, you know, Facebook and Twitter and having everything else like that. So
yeah, I think my major issue with the revelation that For Honor will be online only is that their website actually said For Honor will be able to be played in the single player offline, and then the box art comes out with internet connection required. And so when they get pressed about it, they come out and they're like, oh yeah, about that. So actually turns out internet will be required.
That's a little
Pre-orders have already been put down, you know, like, come on guys, let's be honest.
Yeah, and it's
shady.
And it's Ubisoft again, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is Ubisoft.
Well, because For Honor looks awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, here's the thing with Ubisoft. What we saw from that game at E3 or whatever, it's not going to be it's not what that game's going to look like, because it's Ubisoft.
I truly hope they finally end that trend. I really, really want them to.
All-Star Gamer in the chat said it's DRM at its finest.
It is. No, he's absolutely right. And you know what's funny is we were talking about mobile a moment ago. I mean, Super Mario Jump or Run, whatever it is, that mobile game they're coming out with, they just announced that that's going to be online only on your phone to combat piracy. And people are kind of like, what? You know, like, so yeah, I'm not a fan of it, to be honest with you. I think that you should never be forced into something like that, because some people, you know, your internet. Well, here's a perfect example. Like a buddy of mine, you know, wanted to play. He's playing Division one day. His internet went down. He couldn't play it. And that's really what he wanted to play in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, a lot of places
should still be able to access it.
Even in, you know, first world, in quotation marks, nations, there are still very poor internet connections all over the place. I mean, my issues with my internet are infinite. I mean, infinite and infamous.
Google Fiber.
Dude, I'm waiting. Google Fiber comes through, I'm pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I've got Fios. I'm good.
I don't know, man. You've had issues with that Fios. You know? I don't know if you should say you're good.
Well, I mean, recently I've had issues because they're doing upgrades. Because what's going to happen is, so I'm going to be able to get 150 over 150, which is,
Whoa, nice.
Yeah. I'm at 75 over 75 right now, but I probably get 82 megs down and like 78 up, which is insane.
Yeah,
insane. So
good stuff, man.
I get 20 down and 2 up.
Ooh. You get what?
I get 20 down and 2 up if the internet is working perfectly.
Oh my god.
Did that come with an AOL disc?
No.
Oh man.
I'm just gonna give a shout out to
Lord.
AT&T right now.
AT&T.
Good old AT&T.
That is garbage, man.
They
Wow.
technically have one that's 50 down and like 8 up, but it's ludicrously priced for my area. There's like no way you can afford it if you aren't a millionaire.
Is that Uverse?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So yeah, well, Sam, I mean, I think what Google's doing is they're trying to get into more rural areas.
They are. They're
Fiber,
expanding.
yeah.
They just hit Charleston in South
Yeah.
Carolina, actually.
And that's smart that they do that because they're talking about 1 gigabit downloads.
Oh yeah. Dude,
What's
they
the
come
upload?
through here, I'm pulling the trigger. No questions asked.
Oh yeah, you
That's
have
good
to.
stuff right there. I got to get on that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Eric, man. If Google comes down there, you got to get it, man.
I'm all over it, man. They drop.
If it comes here, although I have my conspiracy theories of Google. I think they're Skynet, but that's another conversation.
Oh,
They're everywhere.
They will be.
They're doing smart cars now. They're doing internet. I mean, they're
Dude, every time they introduce
they're
something
doing
new,
big
I
data. I
just-
mean, yeah. No, seriously, it's like I'm just waiting for Arnold to be the spokesman for Google. Get it now. Yeah, I'm right here.
Come get me. I'm right here.
I'm right here. I'm right here.
Hey,
Come
you know
now.
what? Don't mock the Arnold, because if I see the Google Fiber van, I'm probably going to do an Arnold impression. Trying to get him over to my place.
I'm right here.
I'm right here. Sam's gonna be out there. I'm right here. Maria.
We can't go a single podcast without your own impersonation, can we?
Oh my gosh. By the way, it just killed my throat, by the way, but
Yeah, stop that.
yeah, but
Alright, so we're all in agreement then that we really are not okay with these online only games. Like, it's just, particularly if you game share. So if you game share and your home console obviously has to be set to the person's console that you share with, if your internet goes down, you actually can't play those games that you purchased offline. You can only play the games that the person you game share with purchased offline. So that becomes a real problem.
But here's the thing. I always think this, like, it sucks for us, but I think that with a younger generation, I think about I have a 7-year-old, and the way he experiences games is completely different the way that I experience. Everything for him is internet.
Yeah.
And I think that for us it's kind of a tough pill to swallow because we're used to other things. And I think for people growing up in the future, this is going to be the norm. But,
yeah. Agreed. So we're all in agreement. No bueno.
Yeah. No bueno.
Are we going to talk about Jessica Nigri in her?
No, we're not. No,
okay.
we're really not. So the Nintendo Switch big event, which is coming in January 12th.
Yeah.
What is everybody looking forward to from that?
Give me portable Dark Souls and portable Skyrim, and I will be happy.
Portable Dark Souls and portable Skyrim.
Yes. If that rumor that the Dark Souls trilogy is going to be available on the Switch, and then Skyrim is as well, give it a good price point, I'm good to go.
Yeah, right. Well, apparently on January 12th at 8 p.m. PT, there will be a big reveal.
Yep.
Nice.
Finally get to see what's doing under the hood and
under the hood.
Some of the stop it and doesn't matter how sick he is, right?
Right. Like on Death's Door, and he's still like, under the hood.
Oh my god!
And he's like, come closer, boobies. His last words. Mile High Club.
I've got nothing to say about I've got nothing to say about Mile High Club or boobies or.
Enrique, I'm too tall for the Mile High Club, bro. I've done the research.
Eric, it's not gonna happen.
I can barely use the
max height on
bathroom.
that? What's the max height on that?
Oh, let's see.
That's at 6'7" club.
Well, I'm 6'7". Most airplane bathrooms accommodate people who are like 5'9".
Oh,
So
well, dang, I'm
But
kind of.
don't give Ben. You know what? Never mind. Let's move along.
Eric's gonna. Eric, you have to.
Anyway,
duck a little bit. You have to duck.
as I was saying, yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I want to see what the full launch lineup is going to be.
Bend the knees.
I just want more details. Like I want to know how some of the eShop stuff will work. I'm praying. I really don't think it's going to happen at all, but I'm kind of tired of buying some of the same eShop stuff like over and over again. I really hope that they figure out like a cross-play, cross-buy type scenario.
Yeah.
And something like that. So I'm just hyped to see, just for the fact that, love them or hate them, they do bring a certain amount of excitement into gaming when they have announcements to make. And
Yeah, I mean,
So I'm
one
looking
of the rumors that have come out of there is that the console will actually contain an SD card, which is you can't see it in the trailer, but it's apparently behind the kickstand.
Mhm.
It's behind the kickstand.
Oh, so that's where the cartridges go.
It's where the action happens.
Yeah, I still want to know, like sort of like going along with what Stan was saying. Like, I want to know how all that's supposed to work. Given like memory.
Supposedly, there's this rumor that it gets a power boost if it's actually plugged into the stand.
Right.
Now, at first, I thought, okay, that made sense, but then I kind of thought about it. Now, wait a minute. Doesn't that mean that developers are going to have to make 2 versions of every single game?
Potentially, it depends. Like it depends, but yeah, potentially it does look like that's going to be the case.
I don't know if they have UWP. They don't.
Well, I mean, yeah, UWP is different for multiple software reasons, but
Nintendo.
All I know is that a Nintendo event's coming to Washington D.C. in February, and I will fucking be there. I'm so hyped.
Nice.
Switch. Yeah, no, seriously, the Switch event's going to be in New York City, D.C., and I forget what the other cities in the U.S., but I will be at the D.C. event, and I will be streaming it live, I hope.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it does look like we are going to get our first in-depth look at all the details of the console on January 12th, so that's definitely one to book in your calendars. So if you miss the time again, that's 8 p.m. PT on January 12th. And obviously that's in American time, so that would actually make it, in Australian time, that would make it about 4 a.m. AEST on the 13th.
I'm right here. Sorry.
So Bella, you'll be up and watching it.
Oh, always. Do I ever miss a reveal?
No.
Like ever? Have you ever known me to miss like one?
Nada.
Even when I had like a broken ankle and I had a chest infection, I was still up watching E3 live. Yeah, I never miss them.
I'll tell you what, though.
Yeah.
Eric, Bella's a trooper. Remember, she joined us for the podcast we had with Greg from Supergiant.
Yep.
It was like, I think it was like, what was it, like 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning for you?
Yeah, 3 in the morning.
Yeah. I was like, wow.
Yes, sir.
On a work day, nonetheless.
Mm.
You went to work that day?
Yeah.
Holy shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I do some stuff sometimes. I do some things. So that actually concludes the list of items that we have to discuss today on the Basement Suburban Radio YouTube Neutral Broadcast Podcast.
That's it?
In the cut.
Well, we're actually at 1 hour and 40. I'm trying to actually get you to wrap up your podcast on your hour and a half mark that you usually aim for. And you know what?
We aim for an hour and a half
today, and looks like we're actually going to wrap up on time.
Damn good.
I thought we aimed for 2 hours.
Yeah, we usually go 2 hours, Philip.
I've been a co-host for how many episodes? I could have sworn it was a 2-hour podcast.
You always go for 2 hours, but the goal is 1 hour and a half.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, Enrique, just have some more Sudafed. Jesus.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. 2 hours is always the goal, but sometimes things happen. Sometimes there's a first
One of us
time.
is having problems.
So,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
You know what? Sometimes it's the first time. It doesn't go 2 hours. So, it is what it is. The next
The whole
time.
10 seconds.
Yeah.
Anyway,
exactly. Whole 10
unfortunately,
seconds.
B-Money has had some mic issues. He is here with us and no doubt is listening to us and wanting to jump in on many of the subject matters, including the whole 2-hour theory. So unfortunately, we haven't been able to hear much from B-Money tonight, but thank you very much for joining us nonetheless. I think that we will start the plugs tonight with Eric.
Thanks for coming through, everyone. Thanks for joining us. It's always good. Thanks for the chat, who always keeps it chill. Here on Basement Radio Arcade, In the Cut Underground podcast. Is that close, Bella?
It's relatively close. The actual acronym is the Basement Suburban Radio YouTube Neutral Broadcast Podcast.
We're gonna have to work on that one.
There you go. And also, definitely don't forget to head over to RGM, Real Game Media, for all your news info, giveaways, unbiased. There's no Dryer Smiths over there.
That's
Bella wouldn't put up with that.
www.realgamemedia.com.
And that's all I got. Keep gaming. Play games.
Awesome. Sam?
If you like seeing or hearing or reading my opinions on video games and entertainment culture as a whole, you can follow me on Twitter at Samuel Talbert. I'm also a writer for Real Game Media. I just threw up a bunch of articles today about
That's www.realgamemedia.com.
That's nice. About Turtle Rock's new IP that they're working on, Star Wars Battlefront coming to EA Access. I generally try and put up a couple of articles each day, if possible, so you can check that out if you like my writing. And beyond that, I will be here every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Excellent. And Enrique, it was really lovely of you to join us tonight. Would you like to give us your outro?
Yes, well, thank you for having me on as a guest tonight.
You're so welcome.
I just want to say something to everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight and everyone in the live chat. Big shout out to Josh, by the way, who's been our community moderator. So big shout out to him.
Hashtag best mod ever.
Yeah, big shout out to B-Money. I know he had mic problems tonight. And also, big shout out to John, who couldn't make it tonight because SDGC is broadcasting live tonight. They are doing their Gaming of the Year award show, I think it is. But they usually go live every Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so definitely check them out. They are a sister podcast. And Bella, thank you for hosting tonight. We definitely appreciate it. And it's been a pleasure having you on the last 6 weeks now.
Yeah, 6 in a row.
Yeah,
Achievement unlocked.
Yeah, exactly. We've been spoiled. So, hopefully you can join us next week. But, we love having you on as a co-host, official now. So thank you. And thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome. And B-Money, would you like to do your outro? As always, just enjoy your games and it's been great being here and thanks for having me on board. You know what, B-Money, we love having you join us. You were just a voice of inspiration this evening. Thank you.
He's playing NBA 2K right now.
So that is all from us this evening.
Oh, wait, real quick.
Apparently it's not all from us this evening.
I just want to say something.
I forgot. It's not my podcast. It's yours. What would you like to say?
Who is hyped for Star Wars this Friday?
You know it.
Boom.
Yes, sir.
I am so hyped. So I cannot wait. I'm going on Friday to watch it. And
Very good.
Yeah, I'm gonna be stuffing my face with popcorn and drinking
popcorn, not tacos.
Oh my god! Wow. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. If they had tacos at the movie theater, shit, I'd be all in there. But I'll be eating.
Dude, you got to bring your own. Invest in a trench coat. Stuff in pockets.
Actually, I think I'm gonna go to the iPick theaters, which serves alcohol. I'm gonna have rum and cokes and watch Star Wars. Boom!
Oh, you
nice.
baller!
That's a good combination.
You baller, you.
And they have blankets.
Oh, and would you like to quickly do the little plug for SDGC?
I did already, kind of. Yeah, definitely check out
there.
Yeah,
I think they're still live. Head over.
yeah, they're live. Yeah,
No, their usual weekly time and stuff, and they go live 9 p.m. Thursdays every week. There we go. I just did it for you.
yeah, definitely check them out. I mean, they've had some industry guests on recently. Big shout out to them. We love them. Sister podcast. So check them out. They go live 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays, but they're live on right now, so you can check them out too.
Indeed, indeed. So, as I was about to say before, thank you so much to everybody who's taken the time out to come and join us. The chat was really alive and popping tonight. A lot of great conversation and some really interesting theories and opinions that were put out there. So thank you very much for bringing that to the table. We appreciate each and every one of you who put in the time to come and join us. We will be back next week. Collectively, maybe, but in theory, we will be back next week. But until then, this has been another BRAP podcast.
Peace.